What's not happening? It's not working?
I don't know what the issue is.
Right now, we're just trying to connect to Pocket Live as well.
But anyways, welcome to the Shot Club.
Mo needs his
You know
shit.
what else?
I know, right?
Hey there.
This guy, I put money on it. When I began the show, I told him, I said, Mo's not here, but it's probably because he's going to change into a freaking tank top.
No, bro, because I was downstairs. I was downstairs trying to navigate.
Have all your friends here.
All right, let's go.
Man.
Yes, sir.
Yo, yo.
Hello.
What up?
Hello.
What up?
Yo, yo. Cardi
Welcome,
party.
brother.
Thank you.
Good, you made it. You
You're
made
right,
it.
of course.
Yeah,
Sorry
my
about all
bad.
the
No,
mix-up
I did
and
give
all
the
that.
wrong address.
Yeah.
I looked back and I was
Oh, you
like,
did,
I really
eh?
did
So
read
that was his
100.
fault.
I was like, yeah,
all
it's all
good.
mine.
Where you guys need me to sit? Like
Right
Oh,
there,
here.
bro, that's
here in
the
the
hot
corner?
spot right there.
Like
No,
back
you're
over
good,
here?
right here, right here.
How's everything?
Good, good. How's everything with you?
Everything's chilling, man. Everything's chilling.
Man, it's been a while
Happy
since I've
Sunday.
seen you.
It's been a
Been a
minute,
long
right?
time.
It's been a minute. I had you in front of my camera, so you know we're friends for life.
No, definitely,
You know.
definitely.
How did you guys
I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I think it was a Twitter thing. Like, I just went, I'm looking for a photographer in Toronto, and he hit me back. And I was like, okay, dope. And then I looked at his site, and I was like, whoa, I don't have that money. So he hit me up, and he was like, yo, what's up? And I was just like, yo, this is this thing. He's like, no, I got you. Like, we'll do something, but
Yeah.
come through. And
That's dope.
it was dope.
And
like,
how long ago was that?
I think,
I'd say 2009,
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
say.
wow.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's time.
I'm telling you, when I first came
Yeah.
to Toronto.
Yeah, I've been a professional photographer since '92. So I was right there at the forefront
So you started when you
shooting.
were like 6 years old.
I'm way older than I look, bro. Like this summer, I turned 47, brother. So,
wow,
yeah, I'm OG Toronto original.
Really.
Yeah, brother, black on crack, right? So yeah, I mean, I was lucky. Like I've been around shooting urban and since it started. You know, I shot Cardinal's first album, shot the Rascals and Baby Blue Sound Crew, and like I was around for all that. And I mean, funny enough, speaking of social media with Twitter, like back then you just watch like keywords. So I would type in Toronto photographer,
Yeah.
and like I would just have that feed. Like anybody who punched in Toronto photographer,
Yeah.
I would just see that. So Ches was one of those cats, and I just was like, yo, what's up? And he had a vibe, you know what I mean? I heard his music, and it's like, for me also, like, I've been lucky enough to shoot a lot of people who are right on the forefront, like John Legend, like when he dropped his first album, and I mean, oh my God, like, shot Kanye for when College Dropout, and like Pharrell Williams when he was doing his NERD record. So it's like, you never know who is the next or who's gonna be the next. I treat everybody like a star. Ches is a star. He came in, he had star quality, and we just like made it happen. You know what I mean?
It was dope. I still use those pictures.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm
Pictures
glad.
were, like,
Well, you
shorter.
haven't aged, so you can
Still,
still use them.
yeah.
I try to make my pictures have some lasting, some staying power.
That's
So,
crazy.
so how then, is it just because you've been doing it so long, or how did you gain access to some of these, or was it just a progression?
Well, I started shooting pictures when I was like 14. So I wanted to be a fashion photographer. Went to Ryerson, studied under some amazing professors, and like, so my approach, I was shooting fashion for the first 5 years of my career, but I realized like I started shooting for the Globe and Mail, and like as editorial, and through the Globe and Mail I shot Tom York from Radiohead and Phil Collins and Roger Moore and all these like amazing stars. And then hip hop broke, and I was applying this like traditional classic style, like because I'm a classically trained photographer. So I was applying this classically trained photography to shooting rappers, and like nobody was doing that. No one was like, I mean, I hate to be so like blatant, but like people weren't painting black people in like that light. You know what I mean?
Hey!
Okay, so what this is. So this is
That means we do shots.
our other member,
okay.
Darkwing Cluck.
Okay.
He lets us know when it's time to take shots.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, we're drinking
So,
the Crown Royal, so
We're
make
drinking
it
the Crown
happen.
Royal Vanilla.
Where's my shot glass?
Actually,
Good, Chris.
go get that.
We had, oh yeah, we had that.
Oh, Mikey.
Jeez, you gotta like, come on, attach yourself. Get it cool, get it cool.
So,
Mom, we need a shot glass!
yeah, man. I mean, I was lucky when it comes to just being there and giving people that attention. I mean, how can I thank you, sir? How can I put it? Like, I was like that nerd in high school that went to photography class. You know what I mean?
I studied photography actually for a long time in high school, and then I did it on my own for a long time, and I moved to Ottawa actually to go to Algonquin.
Nice.
Day one, I do a lot. I was like, But I did a lot of my own photography for a long time. So.
Well, it's funny. Now we're all photographers. I mean,
It's
social
I know,
media
right?
and these telephones and like Instagram and all this other social, like we all have like a real good sense of like what it means to be in front of the camera, what it means to be behind the camera, and we live in the most photo savvy times that there's ever been. You know,
true.
we got to knock twice.
Oh, we should do that after, but we can do it before too.
Really?
You do it
Well,
at
let's
the
do it front and back then.
Yeah, there you go.
I've never done it on the back end.
Boss.
Beauty. Well,
I like that you bring your own cozy.
Well, it's like for me, how can I put it? Like, I drink Molson Canadian.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why I drink Molson Canadian. First of all, I'm a Canadian, like through and through, play hockey. I'm like 5th generation Canadian. My dad's dad and his 5 brothers were the first black people to fly airplanes for World War II in Canada. We're in the Canadian War Museum. Like, I'm Canadian through and through. You know, but I like lagers. I drink like girly beers or whatever. But I was sort of like going through the gamut of beers and doing taste tests and Stella and like versus like 3 Speed and like.
Yeah.
But so I was on Kronenberg, love Kronenberg, love Stiegel. These are the kind of beers I'm on, like Stella Artois, of course. But went camping, Northern Ontario. When you go to the beer store, Northern Ontario, you get Blue, Bud, like Coors, Canadian. It's like you get 6 beers. So I saw this dude walk out with a 2-4 Canadian. Like he was passing me, and I was like, Canadian's a good, clean beer. So I bought Canadian, and I go back to the car with my girl, and she's like, Canadian? CARTY? And I'm like, we're going with this. We're going to drink a 2-4. We're camping. We're camping. Right?
Which part? Which part of Northern Ontario?
Right, exactly. So grab this. We buy the Canadian, and we like it. And now all of a sudden, my girl's like, man, now I gotta get Ugg boots and like juicy sweatpants, and you're gonna have to get like a lumber jacket and like start hunting and shit. Like we gotta really be. Now you gotta be a Canadian. It's
Or
pretty
white,
funny.
you mean?
Well, anyway, so I'm cozying my Canadian so people don't really see that I'm drinking it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Which part of Northern Ontario was it?
We went, that particular trip, we went to Algonquin, just on the southeast side of Algonquin Park, Lake Madawaska. Have you guys seen Naked and Afraid? You know that show? Naked and Afraid?
No.
There's a show, Naked and Afraid, where they spend 21 days, a couple, not even a couple, they don't know each other. So a guy and a girl naked in the woods, like, they gotta survive, no food, no water, no fire, no anything, they gotta survive.
Oh, yeah.
So it's crazy show, it's a crazy show. It's on, you can watch it on Crave, or like you can stream it or whatever. So they did Naked and Afraid in Lake Madawaska, like the same place where we were camping, and I was like, yo, I had no idea it was so scary where we were camping, yo. But of course, we were car camping, we got beers, we got food, we got clothes, you know, it was like, but man, these people were from like America, so they came up here and they were like, Canada's crazy, yo. Like, that's crazy ink, yo, I like that.
I own a tattoo shop.
He has his own shop.
Okay,
actually.
well you might have to put something on me.
Absolutely.
He
I
just
have some
opened it
tattoos, I'm
up
just
on,
saying.
what's
I
it
don't
called? Dundas somewhere.
Yeah, Dundas and Bathurst. It's Toronto's and Canada's first shipping container tattoo studio.
Oh, sick! So it's in that little, that's in that,
Yeah.
oh, that's a great
707.
spot, yo. That's a great spot. You got a good, like there's all the skaters that go to the park there. I mean,
No, it's a really dope location.
that's a cool spot. There's a guy, one of my boys has a bike shop there. He
Yeah,
does some little
yeah,
repairs and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool. I like what you guys are doing here.
Oh, this is what we do.
Kind
We
of
just
chill. I mean,
take
you give
shots
the
and
guests
chill.
the uncomfortable shit. I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
understand.
Well, usually we're 4 as well, so we're
Okay.
cut in half.
Okay, so when you have 4, like, will you guys sit in each other's
Usually we
laps?
have
Or like,
couches. They go
okay,
right
Oh, this couch.
okay,
He's on this
okay.
side, so.
Well, Mom had to do some renovations to
Yeah.
make this
Yeah,
whole,
then
make
walked
this
in,
whole
she set
thing
it up.
working
Hey,
out.
not bad.
Yeah, the other 2 are in Cuba for the
No,
week.
Dominican they went.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
I
Cuba.
told them, be safe. Dominican is dangerous for them. They're looking for girls.
Yeah,
Dominican
will rape their pockets.
okay.
They
So
been-
that's where they went?
Yeah, Dominican.
They're looking for Dominican women?
Yeah.
Like to marry?
No,
Or just to have fun with?
just to have fun.
Oh, okay. But they're saying, like, watch your wallets. That's
No, I just said watch them, because, like, Cuba, it's not as free, you know what I mean?
Cuba's soft, bro.
Yeah, but
For,
Dominican,
as a
but
tourist?
Cuba was their spot. You know what I mean? Cuba was their spot where, you know. So now they're in the Dominican. I'm like, yo, it's like Cuba times whatever. Like,
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if they come back. When they come back.
We shall see. So happy Halloween.
Thank you, thank you.
Do you celebrate?
I do. I mean, my girl is really into Halloween, like, into it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, plans her costumes from, like, time. Yo.
Brother,
Plans her costumes
make
from
sure it's
time.
on.
We gotta talk, my brother.
Make sure it's on. Make sure it's on.
This thing's on?
Look on the other side and make sure.
It's on, right? No. This. Make sure this is on. No, it's not. It's not
Turn it on.
Turn it on. Now.
It probably
Alright,
was
she's
not.
up.
Yeah, brother.
We gotta talk, my brother.
No.
On the move,
will.
maximizing my time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Alright, bro.
Zin?
All right, brother. This is usual for the show.
It's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, so what's
Halloween?
her costume this year?
Well, I mean, again, last year she's all about the couple costumes. So
Of course, yeah.
last year we were Jules and Vince from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
And that was like, we killed that costume, yo. Like, I shaved in like the lamb chops, like I grew my
Nice.
beard out, like got the afro wig, got the Jerry curl juice, got the black suits.
Yeah.
And my girl's blonde, dude, with like bangs. She found the John Travolta wig with like the widow's peak and like slicked her hair back and did like, we were on. Like, people were screaming like Samuel L. lines at me as I was like watching. It's like, you know, it was pretty good. And we had the briefcase and like fake guns down our belt. It was pretty dope. But this year it's just, I don't know, man. Like, we're a bit behind the 8 ball as far as costumes this year. So, but I have a feeling we could pull out something in the final hour.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Well, we're doing at the shop. We're doing like $60 flash all Halloween.
Oh, sick.
So all Halloween themed tattoos. So me and my boy who I run it with, we were going to be Derek and Hansel from Zoolander.
Oh, that's great.
So
That's
yeah,
great.
I still got a few things to put together for it, but
That's great.
I watched the movie yesterday, so I can really get into character.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you guys are gonna do it.
What is this?
So
A
you're
center
gonna
for
be
ants?
Zoolander.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Do you
But
have
it's just one of those things. It's like, it's one day, so you really got to justify, how well you want to do the costume, how much money you really want to put into the costume for one day. So we'll see. They have the prepackaged ones where you can just buy it one time, or you can go and try to create your own. So.
Sure. You got to be about creating your own.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think that's the vibe.
Yeah.
I don't really celebrate it.
I mean, well, it's
really-
I never did either, bro. Like, when I had dreads, like, I was Tracy Chapman one year. I was shaved my beard, put in like the fake boobs, walk around with a guitar. It was like, I got a fast car, motherfucker. Anyways, so
It's true. No, I don't really celebrate it. Like, my wife, she's Jehovah's Witness, so that's one reason.
Yeah.
But even before that, like, she was asking me, she's like, what did you used to go out as? And I was just like, I used to just go out as I'm black. Like, that was my costume. Like, people didn't care. I was in Sudbury. Didn't give two shits.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
you already stand out. People stare at
Yeah.
you every time you leave Sudbury. I've been up there a couple times.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've been up there a couple times. My friends are in a band called Fugitive, and they had a gig up there.
Okay.
Traveled up there to watch them play. It's like, and I have a client up there, like Royal Canadian. Like, they have a nickel mine, and they were in the water business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good people up there. I mean,
Oh, you shot stuff for the nickel mine?
I stopped. There's a nickel mine that owns a water company because
Okay.
they found water in their on the land that they mine. They found like the best mineral water in the country. So they're banking on that now.
I haven't heard of this. I didn't even know. There's so many mines up there.
Yeah. So but it's like photography like it's weird. It puts me in connection with all kinds of different.
What's like the
angles.
weirdest place you went to do photos?
I went to Italy. I mean, that's not really weird, but northern Italy to shoot for an Italian bed company, which was, they hired me to show the perfect Italian life. Apparently, they went on a global search to find a photographer to
do it in.
I was the dude. So, anyways, photographed in Romeo and Juliet, like that Shakespearean story. Went to there we go.
That's
Went to
quick.
Verona.
That feels like it's quick as hell.
Went to Juliet's balcony, the same
Oh, right.
place where Shakespeare based the story. Like had access to.
Hold on, I
all
actually
this
didn't know this
amazing
stuff. So
thing,
he actually based it off of a real location.
Oh yeah, it's the Montagues and the Capulets. Like that's all real stuff in Italy. Like going to like I spent 3 weeks there, and you really dive into the like old school crazy stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, you must be on something.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I did not know that shit. I thought it was like stories. true
Yeah, I mean,
stories.
Shakespearean times, like, Europe is so old. Like, the client he's loaded. He has apartments, like, and houses, like, all over Italy. The wife is, like, Italian aristocracy. And we're in his apartment in Verona. And he says, oh, this apartment is very old. It's 900 years old. He's like, I think it's older than your country. He's like, this apartment that he owns. Like,
It's older than the. Oh,
like, understand, like, this apartment, it's like his first, like, his grandfather is like an like, and then, like, it passes on to his dad, who was, like, this famous Italian architect. And then it's like the same structure. Like, it just gets passed on, and it just happens to be, like, in the piazza in, like, Verona. And it, like, you understand, like, they're priceless, irreplaceable buildings. Like we live in a new place where new buildings just like pop up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But England, Europe, and stuff like that, there is no like that presentation of like new that we're used to. No. Renovations, yes, but new, no.
Yeah, no, the architecture throughout Europe is, I mean, and there's such a variety of it because it's from so many different times and different places, obviously. But yeah, what we have here is all glass and metal. But
we have our shot. We gotta take this shot. Oh,
he does it before. You see that? He does the double tap.
I'm doing it after just for these guys. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
My God, what have I got myself into here?
Yeah,
Jesus.
this is what happens. So what do you like to drink normally? Other than you're mostly Canadian.
I drink tequila, Tromba tequila. My boy Eric Brass is a Canadian. He, I don't know, you guys know Tromba tequila?
Yeah.
Tromba's, you know this Canadian company?
I don't know if I knew that, but
Tromba is, and funny enough, I mean, I'm gonna probably butcher Eric's story, but long story, I don't know. But the short story I know is this guy went to Western. He was a business major, and for his business, like when he was going through his end, he wanted to start a tequila company. So he went to Mexico and agave and blah, 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 and he did research on tequila.
yeah.
And Eric has taught me a lot about tequila. Like, first of all, like, why when you take a shot of tequila, do you feel like totally crap after? It's because most tequila, like Cuervo, is 49% tequila, 51% sugar and color. That sugar, like anyone knows, like if you mix sugar with your alcohol, like you feel really shitty the next day.
That's the hangover comes from.
So he's like, well, I'm going to make pure tequila, 100% pure tequila. And he came out with this brand. It was 100% agave, 100% pure tequila, and it's like no additives or whatever. And he, graduated and got investors and basically got this tequila on the market. And now it's like, I mean, I'd say it's been 15 years or 10 years or something like that now. But like this guy's young, like he's 35, who owns or something like that, who owns this Tromba tequila, and it's looked upon as, I mean, it's not seen as like premium tequila. Like what are some of these like? Not at the tip of my tongue. Patron is what I'm trying to think. Patron is what I'm trying to think of. Like that's like a premium tequila, but. Taste Patron and you do taste Tromba and you do a taste test, you'll think Tromba is the Patron, and you think like just because it's just so clean, you can drink it no salt, no chaser, whatever, and
Well,
I
a friend
just
of
sip it.
mine, Alex, we've had him on the show as well. He just started a brand called Siempre Tequila.
Oh, nice.
So he did the very
The
similar
same thing,
story.
like,
He went. His girlfriend's
Mexico.
like originally from his family's from Mexico, so
Yep.
he went down there, literally did the research, found the distillery, you know, like tried different recipes right till they got it, and they've been in the LCBO, I think only about 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
they're doing really well, and
Yeah.
it's
We gotta
it is
try that.
Really delicious, yeah. It's fantastic, and same thing. It's
was smooth. It was
100%
really smooth.
agave, and when you were telling me that story, I was like, this is like
The
literally
same
the
thing.
same explanation. Whereas like the 100% agave versus these other tequilas that are just
Yep. It's true. He told us the
Yeah.
same thing.
Should I live feed? Live
Yeah,
Oh, you
broadcast?
absolutely.
can.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Um,
We're
That's
here.
why I'm like I'm
trying
on
not
these
to
various
curse.
devices. I'm just switching
We don't
live
care.
feeds.
You can curse if you want to.
try not to curse, but
Fucking right. Bud.
um,
We'll do a Northern Ontario edition here.
how do I do live? Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Never
just
mind.
flip it over there.
Never mind. Yeah. Anyways, this is my first. This will be my first live.
Instagram?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So, hopefully that won't mess up too many people. There you go. Okay. Another shot? Gee, is that another one already? Did
No,
the
no,
timer
no,
go?
we can
We're
go
just
off.
getting prepared.
I prepare after a while.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
We got 10 minutes in between.
I'm like, hey, can I bring a beer?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
know.
I didn't know what I was in
you
for
want
here.
So did he tell you what we do on the show?
No, I know nothing about.
No.
Okay.
I said, you want to get in the shot club?
Podcast,
He said, yeah. I said,
Oh my God, the shot club! I'm thinking that I'm a photographer. You guys want me out here because I make shots. I'm like,
We only interview photographers.
oh no, I'm here to get liquored.
Well, it's a good thing.
I'm
we're
in
Ubered.
trouble. Of course I Ubered, like, yeah, okay. That's
So,
what it's about.
who was? I mean, maybe hard to narrow down, but who was one of your most interesting subjects?
I got stories on stories on stories
Yeah,
on stories about, like, there's 3 most important pictures I've ever taken.
Okay.
Tom York from Radiohead,
Okay.
Pharrell Williams, and Colin Firth. And it's like, so they're kind of chronological. I mean, the first celebrity that I ever photographed, is it all right if I lean and get close to each other? You don't mind? Okay, cool. I feel like you might know some of these stories, but the first celebrity that I ever shot was like 1995, was Ashley McIsaac. Remember? Like he was a fiddle player?
Yeah.
I mean, people who are like
yeah.
older will remember Ashley McIsaac.
Yeah. It's funny. It took me like a second.
A second to remember,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like,
I knew the name instantly. I
for
was like,
sure.
I don't
So he
know.
was like my first like
Yeah.
big celebrity. I shot him for a record company. It was a
Okay.
huge thing. I started shooting jazz stars. So I've shot Tony Bennett, Oscar Peterson, Roy Hargrove, like Stanley Turrentine, like all these incredible jazz stars. So I was working for record companies when I first started shooting jazz. But that's the portfolio that kind of got me into shooting for the Globe and Mail. And one day I'm dropping off an assignment, and the art director just picks up a piece of paper. I mean, this is the day of faxes and stuff like that. And she's like, do you want to shoot Radiohead? I was like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Like they
kind of
had
question is that?
done Pablo Honey, and with their first record, there was like they'd done 2 records. One has Creep on it, and it was to promote OK Computer. So they came to Toronto, and all of them were sick except for Tom York. Tom York was kind of sick as well, so he was the only one who was doing press. So I went to meet the writer. We were at the Sheraton Centre Hotel in Toronto, and it was like, okay, you're going to go shoot Radiohead. So I'm thinking, like, I have this picture planned where I'm going to shoot all of them, like, on the bed, like, lying on the bed, like, there's 5 members on the band, and, like, shoot them above. Like, I had a whole plan. I get there, and it's just Tom York.
Yeah.
And he's, like, sitting cross-legged, and he's, like, drinking tea, and he's, like, this guy was, like, so profound. And I was just, like, listening to this interview. I mean, this is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I was 27, so I was 47 now. So after the interview, it was my time to take his picture. And I'm like, okay, so let's, and he's like, yo, can we go outside, man? I'm like, he's like, I don't want to look like some wanker in a hotel room. And I'm like, yes. So we went outside. I had already, when I came into the hotel, like scouted a location, like, and the off chance that this band will come down with me and shoot them right there. So it was just Tom York.
Yeah.
And he was like, dressed like all like hipster and cool. I mean, there was no hipster like back then.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like the baggy, like the super baggy, like
Yeah.
rave sort of pants and like puffy shoes. And he had this jean jacket that he wore Like and this guy had been photographed by Albert Watson and Annie Leibovitz and like all these huge photographers, and now it's just me and him in the elevator, chilling, and he's like, and I'm just like, you just feel like, whoa, from someone.
Yeah.
I was just like, and then once it was time for me to make his blah 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 right here, and he looked and he's like, cool spot, and I'm like blah blah blah, and I'm shooting Hasselblad, so I shoot a Polaroid, Polaroid, and like shake it like a Polaroid picture, peel the Polaroid, and it's like whoa, and I show him, and he's like, that's dope. Can I keep that? Yes, you can keep my Polaroid. So he puts my Polaroid in his pocket, and I proceed to like shoot. Back then I shot film. I shot 24 frames of Tom York. And did I know that that was going to be the first most important session of my entire career? Because understand, they won 5 Grammys for OK Computer. And it was like before, it's like shooting Bono before Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
It's like shooting Kanye before College Dropout. And it's like, this was the beginning of like this whole, so anyways, and he kept my Polaroid. So it went out, it went in the Globe and Mail, it was the front page of the art section. Awesome. I have Tom York in my book. So for like it'd be like, people open my portfolio and be like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
so from there, like I wrote for like a minute, like
Yeah.
on like the fact that like I had like all these jazz stars, but now I'm starting to get into contemporary pop like now, like huge stars, and like
So that was
Radiohead's
really
my first
right
one.
place, right
That
time.
was like the first one.
Yeah.
Funny enough, a year later, I'm on Queen Street. They're touring for OK Computer. I'm hanging out with my boy. Someone like taps me on the shoulder. I turn, and it's Tom York. And he's like, "Are you that dread that took my picture?" Yes, I am,
Yes.
bro. What? And do you know where this record store Rotate This is? Yes, I do. I can take you there.
Hey.
Woo!
It sounds so dead.
Shot. Yo.
This guy's a great story. And you're like,
And we're
Well, I
interrupted.
didn't want to cut him off.
No, like let's
I
do
know.
it. Let's do it. Forget it. The stories just get better with alcohol, I'm imagining.
Happy birthday.
Okay. Take me to this record store. I take him to this record store. During the time, he's like, hey, do I ever get to see that picture? Absolutely. He's like, I'm checked in at the Park Hyatt Hotel under James Bond. Okay. So I'm like, call my friend. My friend Chico worked for a record company. So I'm like, JP, my God, like Tom York, blah, blah, blah. He's like, so go up, get the print, put the print in an envelope, sign my name, seal the envelope, like burn. Now I'm running back down to Much Music because like, or go to the hotel to like give him this print. Go to the hotel, get there. I'm like, hey, here for James Bond. And she's like, James Bond checked out 5 minutes ago. And I'm like, oh. So now I'm like, okay, so I almost gave Tom York this picture.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. So I'm like, oh. So then I call my roommate. I'm like, Chico, my God, like, I didn't. And he's like, dude, I'm watching Much Music right now. They're at Much Music. So I'm like, wheel the car around. So now I'm like driving to Much Music. So I'm at Much Music, on the glass with the picture, like, hey, bro. Interview's over. He still doesn't see me. He's leaving to go to his car to like go to the airport and drive away. And I'm standing at the fence with the picture, like with all the rest of the screaming girls. And at one point, there's like a lull in the sound, and I'm like, hey, Tom. And he turns and he looks and we make eye contact, and he's like, let that drug lot through. Crowd parts, gates open, and I walk through and I pass this guy this print, and I'm like, here. He's like, yeah, man, mate, thanks for doing that. And he gets in the car, the gate's open, he drives away. And I can see him, like, I'm watching the car driving through the distance, and he's like,
Ripping it open.
And then I see him, and he turns back, and he looks, and he's like, fucking hey, man. Like, this, as, like, he drives away, and that was like 2007, 1997, Tom York. So that, hip-hop happens. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, I'm hearing names I've never heard before. I'm hearing Ja Rule. I'm hearing like Ashanti. I'm hearing Tweet. And these are all people who I got a chance to photograph. Truth Hurts.
You had a chance to photograph them before?
All of it. No, like during this whole wave of hip hop, like all these artists are like crossing the border, and it's like Baby Blue Sound Crew. Cardinal Official is dropping a new record. And who's calling me? It's MCA Records in the U.S. It's like, yeah, this is blah 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 from MCA Records, and you guys got an artist up there we just signed. His name's Cardinal Official. See me, you just dropping the accent. And he's like, we signed him. Apparently, you're the guy to shoot the cover. And I'm like, okay. So it's like, blah, 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 gives me the budget. I'm like, oh, and then I shoot Cardinal and like the whole Circle crew and like, you know, the Rascals and like Julie Black and like all these people who all like, so that was the beginning.
Right
and then, and it's Cardinal, and then it's Chuck Clare's record, Memoirs of Blake Savage. And it was like, so there was a time it was just like, all the Toronto people who were on the up, I shot all of those people, but people started dipping across the border to perform here.
Exactly.
And I started shooting this, and then it was like, we're shooting Pharrell Williams. And it's like, come again? Yeah. We're shooting Pharrell Williams. It's like, when? It's like Tuesday. Pharrell's coming. He's promoting his new album. From Pharrell, I'm like, who's Pharrell again? It's like, all Damon, you know, Damon Green from Lounge Clothing, Damon Green from Community 54, Desmond Hill. They owned a store called Lounge. There was a magazine called Peace. There was a magazine called Pound. There was it was just, we were just doing all this stuff, and it was like, you get the message on the two-way. You don't. There was no phone calls. Come on, you get the message on the two-way, and the two-way comes and it flips, and it's like Pharrell Williams, Tuesday, 2:00, and it's like, yo. Yes. So. Pharrell Williams at that time had just dropped a video for a song called Lap Dance, and they're whipping the BMX bikes and they're flipping the BMXs and all that stuff, right? So that was the time of the music video. I mean, right now, kids are watching this, they're like, no, music videos are right now, yo. It's like, no, bro. Like Hype Williams, like back in the day, like those music videos, like when that stuff came out, it was, because there was no DVR, it was not digital. It was like you watched it, you caught it on TV, and once you missed it, it was gone. Like you'd have to like catch it again, you know? It was like, different. So basically, it's like we're shooting Pharrell Williams. So my vibe was like, I have to shoot him with skateboards, I have to shoot him with bikes. Yeah. Like by that time in my shooting portraits, like imagine I went professional in like in 92, and this is 2001. So I'm almost 10 years in as a professional when I shoot Pharrell Williams, and it's like there was a spot called Hogtown Skateboards, and they had BMX bikes, and they had skateboards, and it was at Spadina and King. It was a small little underground spot, and I knew if we met there, he could get a skateboard that he wanted and trick on the skateboard. He'd get a bike if he wanted and trick on blah, blah, blah. So whatever, we told the label, that's where we're meeting, told the magazine, everybody, so that's where we met. So Pharrell, first thing is like, yo, whose idea was it to meet here? And I was like, he's like, comes up and he's like, Bob, he's like, I love you, motherfucker. You know exactly what time it is. And he points at this like goldy, like gold lowrider, and he's like, yo, I got that shit in North Carolina. And I'm like, okay. He's like, we have to make a picture with that. I'm like, yes. Get it done. So hence there comes Pharrell with lowrider. That famous picture that like, I mean, for people who know my shit, that's the picture that people know me for. Like that's the picture that, like, it's in Hip Hop Immortals, which is the largest collection of hip hop photography in the world. It's been shown in the exhibit Hip Hop Immortals, meaning it was premiered in Paris and London. That picture's been in Russian Vogue. Like that picture of Pharrell, for me, I say is the second most important picture for me. But that picture, for me as a picture maker, that was a picture that people were like, yo, CARTY is like, it's legit. Like that legitimized me. So that was sort of now with hip hop. Now when it came to hip hop, I shot Pharrell. Yeah. So Kanye comes into town to promote College Dropout. And I'm not hired to shoot Kanye. Like, I wasn't hired to shoot. Kanye is really the only person that I show that I was never hired to shoot Kanye. Okay. And the thing was like a really strange situation because I was in my office and I was just close to the Lounge store, and Desmond texted me on the two-way, I'll say again, and it was like, Kanye, store, now. And it was like literally Kanye West is in the store right now.
Come take the picture.
Now.
Get there.
And my reply is like, does he know I'm coming? Like, does he know I'm coming and taking this picture? No. And I'm like, well, dude, like, I don't. And Dez is like, CARTY, fuck. Like, this was like, Dez Hill. He was Damon's business partner. Okay. So the two of them ran Lounge, and like, we're pretty much responsible for urban culture in the city from 99 to 2005, it was lounge. Everybody from DMX to everybody was like, they started urban clothing, like these guys, like Big C, Jason Burke. Like when it comes to Toronto and like what we're riding on now, it's all like these foundation guys, you know? So again, I'm still new. Like, I mean, I'm in it, but I'm new. And Desmond's like, Kanye West, you don't understand this guy. I don't care if it's like,
Did you know who he was?
Kinda, but it's like, but it's like, Desmond's like, I don't care the perfect conditions that you need in order to make pictures. This is a picture that you need to make.
Exactly.
So I came down and I started shooting. And like his bodyguard like pushed me, like, yo, what are you doing? And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And then some next guy is like, yo, if there is a guy in this country who you should let train a camera on Kanye West, this is the guy.
Exactly.
But still, Kanye's like, I'm not ready. And it was like.
So was he always
it
like
was
that
the
then?
battle. It was like the battle. It was literally like the battle of the egos. Like my ego and his ego. Me like, I don't do like paparazzi stuff, and him like, I'm not ready for you to take my picture. And literally, I shot 3 frames, and then it was over. And then like it was like.
And that's why I think it's like I saw it on your site. The
Yeah,
picture
yeah.
of him, he's kind of like.
Yeah, looking like that.
So I didn't
It
show.
looks like he's giving attitude for the camera, but I think he's giving attitude to the camera.
Like, why are you taking my picture?
So it was one of those things where I didn't show that picture. I shot that picture in, let's say 2002. I didn't show that picture till 2009 when I shot this picture in 2004.
Okay.
So I didn't show that picture until 2009 when I did my first coffee table book. Like that picture was never.
Yes, I remember that book.
So when my book.
Coffee tables.
Positive, yeah, right. And then the legs come out, and it actually becomes a coffee table. So, yeah, that's when I told the world that I shot Kanye.
Yeah.
So essentially, like, I never, like, I think maybe Pound printed it or something like that, but it was like, I'm like, don't put my name on it. They're like, what? I'm like, don't put my name on it.
Yeah.
Like, I just like, secret picture, you know what I mean? But whatever. And so what happened after this wave of hip hop is like, I painted myself into a corner, meaning like, when people said Steve CARTY, the first thing you thought was like, oh yeah, that hip hop photographer, yeah. Like, so I had focused so many of my years, easily 5 to 8 years, shooting exclusively urban content, exclusively like music content, rappers, like the gamut, and it was amazing because I mean, flying to New York to shoot Pete Rock, but it started to like I was shooting Daft Punk, which also like was still urban music, and Grandmaster Flash, and like it was like,
Hey!
oh my word!
You know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
I actually did it.
What up?
And trust me. As
Oh,
much as it
how
hurt
many?
you,
Can you
it's
tell me
hurting
how?
me.
That's not David's energy at all.
Well, I'm alone here.
Listen,
The only.
we are not David. If you want David, come get David.
Excuse me, guys. Can you tell me how many of these it's been now? Holy crap.
4 at least.
4, maybe 5.
Let's say 4. Let's say 4. I like the
Jeez
number 4.
Louise.
Ugh.
My goodness.
Welcome to the Shot Club. Wow. So, okay, just to cut in here, were you doing something special, something different, something like? Is there at that time were you doing something that, that stood out?
Yes. What I was doing was shooting with a Hasselblad, and the thing that like in the beginning of my leading up until 2004, I was shooting Hasselblad, which is a medium format classic camera that like you look down and like it goes like nobody was shooting with Hasselblad. Everyone was shooting 35 millimeter, and the size of 35 millimeter negatives versus Hasselblad negative, it's basically 2.5 times larger.
Okay.
So my quality back then, before digital, it was all based on what camera you had.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also your ideas, right?
Right.
So I also shot the famous no hander, no footer picture of Pharrell, where he does this trick.
Oh,
and
yeah, I know what
that
you mean.
picture is in Carte Blanche, which is the first book of Canadian contemporary photographers. And like, I shot that picture 35 millimeter, like because you can't get that kind of movement with Hasselblad. Like Hasselblad's a very slow, disciplined camera. And you asked me what I was doing different. It's completely visual signature. So visual signature is how you see with the camera. So like how you write your name is going to be different than how I write my name, and like how you dress is going to be how different. And like we all have our personal
Your
style
eye
things that you can't imitate. So I have a way that I shoot, and the way that I shoot is like straight up. I have like a no bullshit way of making pictures that has nothing to do with me and everything to do with my subject. Like I call myself a mirror, but what I do is like stylized reality, and it's shot with like a technical precision that makes it like, yo, what's up, fam? Which makes it like truer than real life. So all those factors together give you the look that is CARTY. Like non-distracting backgrounds, it's very much about who's in front of my camera. So because of all that, and I have this other advantage, which I'm really fast. Like I shoot fast. So imagine like Tom York from Radiohead, like a picture that it goes on a cover, I shoot it in 8 minutes. You know what I mean? Or like
or 1
shooting
second.
Pharrell, well, or
You know what I'm saying?
1/25th of a second, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like the path from idea, execution to finished is like a very short path. Like sometimes I shot Emma Bunton, Baby Spice from the Spice Girls.
Yes, I saw that.
had her for 3 minutes. I'm gonna say that again. I had her for 3 minutes, and I was shooting a cover. So, like literally, everything is set. Light test, exposure, blah, blah, blah. And she literally comes in, I see her, I grab her face, and I kiss her on the cheek. And she's like, what? Like, she was just and then she was in front of the camera, and she was just, and then it's just like, bang, 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 bang. It's over, and then I kiss her again, and it's like, bye. And she's like, what just happened? Like that gift of speed, that's how a company from Japan finds me, and I shoot Colin Firth for promotion in Japan, and I have Colin Firth for like 20 minutes. But what ends up happening is we spend the first 20 minutes talking about iOS and FaceTime, and I talk all through my allocated time to take the picture. I talk all through it, just because of like rapport. But then when it's like Colin's publicist comes and is like, Colin, it's time to go. He's like, no. Me and this guy, we're doing something. And then he gives me like this, and of course I'm shooting in a hotel room. I bring my black velvet. Like I bring this, sometimes I have to bring the studio to the person.
Exactly.
So I bring the studio to him, and he gives me like this picture, and I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. And then I show him, and he says this to me. He's like, oh, you're a real photographer.
Cold.
And then he starts, and then it's just like bang, 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 bang. And then a week later, he wins an Oscar. And it's like,
That's it.
but what we wanted to talk about was iOS, because the iOS 4, I mean, the iPhone 4 just came out. What was the big thing about iPhone 4? FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Front-facing camera. So Colin Firth tells a story, like he's holding court. There's like 10 people in the room, and he tells a story about like, I'm in the bathroom taking a leak. It's Colin Firth. I'm in the bathroom, I'm taking a whiz, and my assistant calls me, and I just like tap the thing, but she's trying FaceTime for the first time because we both have, and she sees me, and I'm pissing, and I see her, blah, 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 and then like I throw the phone in, like, so he's telling the story, and like everyone's laughing, and it's like, and he's like, have you experienced, like, so it was great, like we connected on iOS, and then he's like, so, and I had an iPad, and he's like, so how do you get like stuff onto that thing? And I'm like, well, you use Dropbox. And his assistant's like, blah, 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 and I'm teaching him how to like get stuff on the iPad without wires and all this stuff. And we're having non-picture related, non-photography related. We're talking about iOS. And then like, so like when I shot Sandra Oh, she was in Toronto promoting this movie Sideways, and it's the same thing, like, there's common ground with everybody. Sandra Oh's from Napanee, Ontario, and I went camping in Napanee.
She is Canadian.
Yeah, she went camping in Napanee when I was a kid. So I knew she was from Napanee, and I'm like, oh my God, I went camping in your hometown, and now we're talking about Napanee and the lakes and blah, 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 blah. And like, and then I showed her this picture that I was making. Again, I had her for 5 minutes, but I shot her for 25 minutes. And like, her publicist would come and she would be like, no, I'm doing something right now. We are doing something. Like, so, like, I like to be fast, but at the same time, like, we as people, you know that. Like, you hang out with someone, you have common ground with them quickly. You know what I mean? If there's a girl that you're like trying to like get next to, you find common ground with them quickly. If there's like, imagine like you're a rapper and like there's this producer that like you're really trying to get next to, like you pull a beat and you're like, you play that shit while you're walking by them, you know, like where it's all strategy as to try to like, trying to impress person when you have like, but just a minute, you know what I mean?